Okay, Luca, so I'm going to do my review, my written review, and I'll send that to you. Tomorrow at some point, I'm tired right now, but I'll create that new server and then we'll create like channels, different channels. One of them is going to be for us to post our reviews. Good thing of having that on, because I have a few ideas. I'll tell you about it later. I'm going to create a, I have a additional computer resting, a MacBook that I don't use, and I'm going to go and install Maltbot or Claudebot. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's the rage in the past few days. And let's see if we can have an AI sort of like manage our Discord, um, including, it'll be perfect for searching, searching for trade setups and videos and whatever it is that we're including there in our reviews. And it can help us analyze them and all that. Whatever, we can go into that. So, anyways, we took this trade, right? We were trading this at the open. This tape was very sketchy. Um, this is all very long. I'm not going to show you the footage of the tape um, because then the video is going to be too long. Um, um, but I do remember this reclaiming here, this the 580s and then 600 area. It topped here in the 630s. I traded this. I bought this flush here into this off of, I don't even know where I entered, but looking at the low 600s, and I probably entered a little bit lower. And this was a good trade that I captured. Um, but I think we were both, pretty clear that this thing was very sketchy, right? Until we get this like squeeze up into the 700 area. And then I remember this was very challenging because we could have been fading these off the top, but I was scared of fading things off the top because I thought this was ready to just go. Um, and the ones at the bottom were not, at least for me, because I'm used to waiting to see that burst of speed and tape to get me in. I never saw it on any of these. It would just turn and go back up, and I didn't see the signal on the tape. So I was really frustrated. So I guess we missed all this thing. And oops. And then, it finally, I guess we got this squeeze up when it ended up taking out the range. I don't know if you remember that this was difficult as well. It was like, you know, not going until in the end when it was obvious that it was going, it was already too late. It was just, and we were waiting for this to like exhaust up here, right? In this area against the 800s to get a setup. Okay. This wick that we see here is that 10 a.m. Um, uh, uh, manufacturing PMI that came out, and um, this got sold into really quickly, but then this held this trend line here, and I was a little bit, by the way, this trend line is a little bit sloppy, but if I had drawn this in a better manner, maybe I would have seen, well, it was still sort of like filtering through it. It was still dipping below it. But anyways, it was pretty much kind of like holding trend after this was faded, right? And then we saw it then heading up into this VPUC that we had identified which was like the 780s, 25 780s. And this is where we got off the call, I think. And it was like, this was kind of like ready to, oh, we took this trade actually. So you took it. I can't remember where you entered. I know that I entered. I got out because I got scared. I didn't want to hold because of all this sketchy action. You held it a little bit longer. I'm not sure. I think you probably got out because you were following what I said. I said you have to get out or something like that. And I guess you listened and then you got out. And I'm sorry for that because then it ended up going. Um, Lesson here is that we have a very good technical breakout happening. We know that this is sketchy, but at the same time, we also know that this is just squeezing, right? um, part of me that should have been thinking about this but didn't think is that we had data come out, and then it's taking out the highs after the data. Market is probably thinking that reacting in the positive way to the data. That's probably why we're getting this squeeze. And the data was, I also didn't pay attention to the actual print, but it was actually the best manufacturing PMI we've gotten since 2022. So that must mean something. And that's probably maybe why this thing squeezed. Now, here's the important thing. After we, um, this was difficult again, holding through it because it was kind of sketchy, and it was, again, it would go but not go, and they were, it was like reined in. And same as all the action before, I was describing it as not being organic. But then again, look at all the stuff that we missed just because it was not organic. There's something to be said about, doesn't matter how it's trading on the tape, if the technicals are telling you, maybe we should follow that. But that's not the point here. What I want to go on here is that here it did become organic. And I don't know if you can see here the difference in the tape, but there's a point here when it's testing here the 830s in this consolidation here where it flushes this red candle. And after this red candle happens, it gets bought up, bid up again, and it traps. And then this part here, and basically all the tape from this point on until here, this was real organic. This was real capitulation. It felt really organic, felt real on the tape. And I got trapped here because I thought this was a sign that this was time to short this thing. So I got trapped, and I was very much out offside. I lost a bunch, and then I knew that when I realized that this was really organic tape, and I flipped long, but I just piped out. I was in a couple of times, but I chased, and then because I had bad entries, and I got in really quickly, and then it kept going higher, and then I got frustrated, and then I kept chasing it up higher because it kept going higher, and I got into that negative cycle where in the end, even though I was right, I was just losing. So it was kind of stupid, but that's what I want us to go view on the tape. You already remember sort of the price action around here. I wanted you to compare it with this, and these trades here do have a lot of edge. The other thing that I failed at doing here is I was very clear about the 700, 730, 750, this area. I was lost here. I didn't really know what the 800s or 850s or 860s. Once we reclaimed the 800s and we squeezed out of this area, basically, I didn't know where we were on a higher time frame, and I could have just pulled up the chart and checked, but I didn't, and that's part lazy, part stupid, part just unacceptable, because you kind of need to know where you are, where's the next area of liquidity, what to expect. And based on what I see here, the 880s, 890s to 880s, but just, below 900s was a huge area of liquidity here. We're coming off the low 700s here, and it's almost as important as that 700 area. Look at it. So I should have been expecting this to find, at least at the beginning, because it ended up squeezing even higher, but at the beginning, to find a top around this area, which is exactly where we went. 880s, we overshot by a little bit into the 900s, into the 90s, right? But this was the top. This was the top. So I should have known that. I should have known that in advance. That was a huge fail. One, because having a target area makes a huge difference. It gives you a lot of edge. If I knew I was kind of lost. I didn't know. If I had known that this was a very obvious target area, I would have held this thing from here all the way into the target area because we were so close. And I knew it was somewhere to go, and it was squeezing, and I knew it would exhaust into that. But because I didn't know that, then I was scared of holding, and I was piking, and I was nervous because of all the sketchy action that it was going to dump on me or something like that. I would have had a lot more conviction to hold through this whole move and capture a really good trade, knowing that we had a a target, solid target area in the 880s. And I would also have had conviction to get in once it traps here, knowing that it always overshoots by, 10, 20 points, the same way it did down here. I would have captured these with a lot of confidence, but I didn't because of that fail, because I didn't zoom out and I didn't confirm my levels. I didn't know where we were on the chart. That's insane. We have to know where we are on the chart on a bigger picture, context. So that was a big fail. Now let's have a look really quick. I haven't seen this myself, so I guess we're gonna go over it together. So um, let me mute it because we were talking at the time. So um, this is the point where we're like testing there, the 820s, 830s. You can see it here. This is a tape, this is a ladder. And here, you saw that? This wick here, bam. So it kind of like exhausted, and we saw that exhaustion action here. And now we're gonna see that red candle. Oh, it's gonna try to push higher here. Bam, bam, bam. I guess this is where it exhausts into the 820s, 830 area, making new highs. See some block orders there. You see how the tape is stalled. It accelerates there a little bit. We climb, we push into the 830s. We get some acceleration of the tape, which indicates that it could be exhausting. Look at the chart. Looks very kind of parabolic. So it looks like it's like a toppy, right? It looks like an exhaustion already. And then we get well, let's see how long it's going to hang in there. Pushes a little bit higher. I guess we're still on the call there. We're getting off the call. And while we're getting off the call, this thing, gets heavy and then kind of flushes. And look at that red candle there, right? That is the beginning. That red candle could be the beginning after that exhaustion that we saw, the beginning of, okay, it topped in the 830s and it's coming back down. I'm going to pause it here again. I'm going to say this again. If I had been aware and I had internalized the fact that we have a very important target area in the 880s, I would already at this point be prepared that if this thing traps, then we're going to put another leg up higher. And now we're already just 50 points away from that 880s area. And it would have given me conviction to literally buy the squeeze from this point. But okay, I didn't know that. It's not okay that I didn't know that. It's not acceptable that I don't have that key piece of information. So we got that first red candle. Now it's kind of chopping around, and the normal expectation would be that after that red candle there, and it's also a breaking trend, right? That we would get a flush, but we didn't. We have or we would get like a washout, right? It will start just trending lower maybe. It's just that's a good spot to short. So at this point, we don't have confirmation this thing has trapped yet. Let's pause it again. I'm not sure what the VPOC was, but I mean, I can check on the chart. So there was a local VPOC there after that red candle. So this is a red candle. This is a little drift lower, whatever. So we had a local VPOC here. let's say at around 861, 862, extends up here into like 864. So the low 860s basically. If we end up, oh, I'm sorry, no, we're down, sorry, we're here actually. This is a red candle. So at that point, after we get that red candle, and then it comes back and the BPOC seems to be, in this case, like, yeah, it's like, 830, 831, something like that. So if it reclaims 831, then we kind of have a confirmation that this has trapped. That's the line in the sand, the 831 level. So where are we here in the high 820s still? So, and look at the tape. You see how now it's testing that 831 level, and now it just skipped above the 831 level. It accelerated a little bit, but not too much, and it didn't reject right away. Here we're already above 831. It's kind of pulling back a little bit, and then it's clearly rejected. So there, I should be getting in immediately, probably even a little bit earlier, off of that 831. 831 is going to be our stop. And if it gets below 831, we get out. And if it hangs out there, look at what it does. It goes up and down a little bit. It goes, it's similar to the situation. Oh my God. Um, Sometimes I get nervous and I start typing things just because it kind of like helps me relax. I don't know why I was doing this shit. This is a type of stuff. This is why we need to be on a fucking call, because I have this crazy person inside of me take over and I start doing stupid shit instead of being focused on what we have to be focused on. If we had still been on the call here, just like we were on the previous one, we would have given each other the conviction necessary to stay focused on this and be like, okay, come on, it's here reclaiming that 831 level. It's not going to fail. Give it a little bit of time. If we already entered, you would be telling me, or I would be telling you, stay in there. Stay in there because it trapped. It's clearly trapped. At this point, the narrative, all that stuff, at this point, this was not like earlier that we were kind of maybe not. This is super clear that there's volume trap. So stay with it. Don't get out because there's a move coming. That's what we would have told each other here. So look at it. And it wants to reject. It's printing. Oh man, I got ahead of myself. This is a red candle. I'm sorry. Okay. That's the red candle. And here it's now, okay, it still stands because we saw it on the chart. It's at 831. Here it's going back into that area, 831. Okay, so after that red candle, bam, we're going back into 831. It's trapping, clearly. If we didn't know it before, now we know it even more because it's flushed 2 times and it got bought up, right? So here is where we're waiting for the move. And if we're already in it, or if we already entered, even if it's here in the high 20s, it's like still like in the middle of this consolidation. We know that there's volume trapped. I don't know if you noticed this, but at least I know, I noticed that the tape here is way different from where we were in the same situation before. What did I try to do there? I try to short it. I don't know if you see that, but that's a short position. Pretty insane. So I was completely oblivious of what was going on. Not only did I short, but I shorted at the bottom, thinking that this was ready to break down, not realizing that this is so clearly a trap. So I get short and immediately I have to close my position. I try again. Look at that. Right? And I'll probably try again because I'm so stupid. And here is what I realized that it was trapping. So then I get long. So I don't know if you saw that. I got long there and I took it off immediately because it didn't go. And I got long here again. Look at it here. And I just took it off immediately before it actually took off. And then I chased it up again, long. And I took it off for a few ticks, maybe even for a loss. Here, I probably get stopped out. I keep chasing it up little by little, and then I short it. Look at that. Because I think, oh, no, no, it's failing. So I'm changing my mind in direction from 1 second to another. Then I realize, no, 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 it's squeezing. So then I get long and I chase it up. And then it goes against me probably again. Or maybe it squeezes up a little bit, but then I get out immediately because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Now it goes against me now. Bam. Now I went, look at my P&L here. I was up at $12. Now I'm down 260 bucks. Just because of those three stupid things I did there. Now it turns out that it trapped and it keeps going up higher. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go and chase it up again. Oh no, it's going to squeeze again. I was right. It is squeezing. So then I'm going to go and, oh no, again, I shorted it. Insane. Goes against me because it is squeezing. So I'm going to have to get stopped out there. I'm waiting for it to come back. I'm thinking maybe it exhausts there, it comes back again. But it won't. Look at the chart. This is squeezing. There's a ton of volume trapped there. At this point, I'm already down 350 bucks. I try shorting it again. I'm trying to fight a fucking squeeze. Now I'm down 400 bucks. Until I realize, I'm hoping at some point I realize here, like, nah, this thing is going to squeeze into higher. Now join the trend. And I think I try to do this at some point. Let's see. Yeah, because I long there, but now it looks heavy. So then I'm not sure if it's squeezing. And again, I can't even stress how important. I can't stress enough how important this is. I was lost in the chart. I was not aware of the levels. If I had known that 880 was an important target area, we're already here in the 860s, that would have given me conviction to, take the paper cut, get back out, get back in here, knowing that we're up just about to test that area. But because I didn't know that, I probably didn't know. So I see it going against me here, and I probably think, oh no, no, I flip back to short or some stupid shit like that. I'm lost because I don't have direction. Here, I'm actually doing something very dangerous. I'm thinking, it's going to come back instead of taking the position off. Probably because I have that, I'm offside. I have that bad entry. So then when it does go get above my entry, I probably take it off immediately. You know, when it doesn't squeeze immediately, so I probably take it off for a few ticks. I guess this one probably I stayed in it a little bit longer, so maybe here I probably already realized, okay, this thing is going to squeeze much, so just hold. So I'm holding. um, at some point, this is gonna shake me off because I was pretty weak here because I didn't. Yeah, it looks like here I have more conviction. I'm letting it run. Okay, so I brought it from 400 down to say 260 bucks. So yeah, that I think here I already knew that. Okay, let it squeeze up into the 880s, which I think this is what I did here. But it ended up with small size, so I ended up not erasing all my losses. But look where we are right now. Where did we realize, or we should have realized at the beginning? I didn't. I tried to fight it. But where did this actually trap and go? It trapped at the 830 area. We're already touching almost the 880s. So that's 50 points, dude. So if I knew, 50 points that if I had taken that trade the way I should have, 50 points on the same size that I was using here, which was, I guess, max like 6 micros. Um, I don't know how much that is. It's like $1,000, literally. And instead of that, I'm all I have to show for this is losses. So that's kind of insane. This actually ends up trapping here again. So we here, here we see that tape acceleration there. That indicates, and look at this red candle here, huge volume candle. So this kind of would say, oh, this is like the top, and then we get that little, it starts like pushing lower. So once we get all that volume traded here and it's pushing lower, at some point here, we're gonna get the same situation, a trap. If it doesn't sell off all the way back down and this little flush here gets bought up, then it's going to trap and then keep going higher, which is exactly what it does. I just want to go through that so I can have that saved, so I can review it later. So here I'm trying, I guess I'm trying to wait for this to give me like a sign that it's bottoming out. Oh, I'm trying to short it. See? Dude, and I'm chasing. So if you're trying to short something, you should be doing it from where you got the signal on the tape up there, not chasing it here at the bottom, which is something I know you do as well, right? This short ended up working, I guess, because this thing did go down, but I didn't take it off. So, because I thought it would go down even further. So I didn't take profits, and now I'm offside again. Bam! Another loss. Try shorting it again. And now I'm pretty sure I'm going to let it go against me again, and I'll be offside again, and it'll be another loss. This is how crazy. This is the crazy stuff that happens, that can be avoided if we're on the call. Because I wouldn't be doing this stuff if we're on the call, just because it's embarrassing. Just for that reason alone. It's about accountability, right? It's about. So at this point, if you look at the chart, we're sort of like creating a bit of a. Oh, and here's a bam, then we squeeze here. I guess we exhaust here into the 80s and then we trap. So I should be looking here at this volume candle. I guess I got long there because I knew it was going to squeeze. Not the best entry. I guess I think I do capture this squeeze pretty well. Again, I'm holding on to it, knowing that it is going to squeeze. I know that there's volume trapped. So just waiting for that move. It's scary, it's really uncomfortable when you're waiting for the move to happen. You don't know if it's just going to turn against you, which it did there, so it stopped me out. So another loss. And then I don't know what I was thinking here. I was probably frustrated. I don't know. I'm trying again on the long side, chasing it up there instead of buying it down below. Offside again. Let's see if this stops me out. I think it does stop me out. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Okay, there's making new highs. So maybe I do hold this. I do. I think I do hold this one a little longer. So I took some off there. Oh, I remember. And now the last lot, which is just 2 micros, I hold it into the 90s, into the high 90s. So this one I do hold it. Well, I should have held the whole position into the high 90s, not just 2 micros. So, but okay, this here looks like there it is. Bam, 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 and there's where I take it off. So now I'm back at just minus 200. So, you know, all in all, again, if we look at this, we had traded this properly. And if I had known again that this was going to be the level, the area that I should have had as a target, this was an incredible trade that I ruined. After this, I made a couple of other very stupid mistakes, including thinking that this was a reclaim and a reclaim here and it was going to go higher, and I got trapped here and I almost blew the whole account. So I'm not even going to go into that. It's not even worth it. But that's the crazy stuff that I did after we were on the call. Why is it so crazy to think that this is, well, because it's clearly a double top. Yes, it could be trapping and keep going, but how is that going to be happening after we've already done this? So it's about context as well, right? This is the problem. So setups and specific technical patterns that we have that work, they work depending on where they are. Okay? So this thing worked here because we were reclaiming a VWAP that if we are in a higher, if we see this chart on a higher time frame, we had this higher time frame set up here. So um, we were basically reclaiming this VPOC here, this area here after it failed. Okay, so there's edge there. So if that setup, that technical pattern shows up here, we're at the base. We haven't even started squeezing. So all the edges there. But when something has already made a 300-point move, it's already exhausted. So looking for continuation up here is insane behavior. It's just like irrational, stupid. It doesn't matter how good it looks. It doesn't matter if it's, oh, look, it trapped. Look, the same thing that we've been trading. We have a, a fail and then come back and reclaim BWAP. Doesn't matter, man. Look where we are. That's not going to work up there. So context matters, right? Anyways, that's just a review for this trade. I just wanted to basically go over the tape and see it visually, so you see how stupid I can be. But hopefully you can see, forget about the executions that you see there. Look at how the trade actually played out and look you know, how much edge was there. And if we had traded it properly, it would have been a great trade.